See if I can do this without crying. In 2010, when I turned 42, I gave myself the gift of life. I was short, fat, overweight, struggling with chronic pain and stress, and a little bit of depression. I tried every single possible workout out there, from step to spinning, and none of it stuck. Not a single thing hit that pleasure center in my brain and made me want to come back. I wasn't sure taekwondo was the sport for me. I figured I'd try it and see if I could even survive a class. I like the idea of kicking things. I'd been a baton twirler when I was growing up, and kicking was something I liked. But it seemed violent, difficult, not really a sport for a mother of two who was more than a bit height challenged, and found that workouts usually meant more than a day of recovery. It turned out to be exactly the sport for me. That pleasurable little uptick in my brain, that little light that went on and said, go back and do this again tomorrow. That was taekwondo. I made it through class, and I was exhausted and sore, but I felt alive. I felt like I found that thing I was looking for. This was the workout I wanted to do. This was the sport I wanted to learn. Doesn't mean it was easy. I loved the drills and kicking targets, and I was still kind of terrified of sparring. I was terrified of anything that required me to hit a person, or worse yet, be hit by a person. I put off buying my sparring gear as long as I could, which means I was 6 months into training before I ordered it, and due to some issues with delivery, 8 months into training before I received it. The third time I put on my sparring gear, I was in a tournament. So there I was, an orange belt, and I'm still barely able to put on my gear without help. And there's my opponent, a purple belt, who went straight for my head, first shot, and knocked me on my backside so hard that I saw stars. I got up, I kept going. I was terrified, yeah, but I knew I didn't have a choice. I was in the middle of a sparring match, in a tournament. I couldn't just stop. It didn't really help me like sparring, though. For Christmas in 2011, I gave myself the gifts of courage and belief. I started attending tournament training classes. I was the slowest person in class. I loathed running, still do. I was tentative, careful, I was uncertain. There was one day when we were doing lead leg head kicks, and I was very cautiously lifting my leg and trying to reach for the head, and I couldn't make it. And Master Nash walked by and said, commit to the kick. Because you can't do something unless you believe you can. You have to commit to the action. Do it as if it will succeed in order for it to have a chance of succeeding. Don't overthink it. Just throw the kick and trust that your body will accomplish the goal of reaching high enough, far enough, hard enough to strike the target. In order to get there, I had to believe in myself. At tournament classes, we trained hard. We ran, we did conditioning, we did a lot of drills. And of course, we sparred. We sparred a lot. I stopped hating sparring, but at that point I didn't really love it either. I learned how to do it. And I learned how to grit my teeth and work hard and get through it. I learned that no matter what, you don't give up. If you're gasping for breath on the edge of an asthma attack, you stop, you breathe, your coach gets you the time that you need, and then you go on. Thank you. In the summer of 2014, for my 46th birthday, I gave myself the gift of faith. I received my black belt that summer, and for the months leading up to the test, I didn't feel like I deserved it. I trained hard, just like everybody else. I worked my best and done my best, and I was pushing my limits as much as I could, but I still had imposter syndrome. I looked at the other people and I thought, they're better than me, and they'll always be better than me. When I tested, I failed to break my grip. But at the same time, I remembered all my forms, I did my essay, and I sparred well. In fact, I sparred well enough that when I threw a spin back kick and realized that I was about to catch my sparring partner in a very uncomfortable below his chest protector place, I was able to pull back and not nail him with an illegal kick. And I had control. And it's funny that that kick, too low, didn't land it, is one of the moments that gave me faith in myself as a black belt. That was also the summer where I had to look at my training because as a black belt, my journey was only just beginning. I had to ask myself, where did I want to be in a year, in 5 years? And I had to follow my heart to where the training would be best for me. And I had to have faith in myself that I would be strong enough to withstand it and flourish. For the past 3 years, I've given myself the gifts of strength and perseverance. I remember a few years ago when I said, it's okay, you get used to getting kicked in the face. And my sparring partner just stared at me and bumbled. I can't blame her. It's not a normal statement to make. Nor is cheering for the person who just nailed my nose with a fantastic fake. Or saying, yeah, I'll do it with my offhand because I'm not worried if I'll break that one. Yes. We all have limits. We have fears, and we have things that we think we can't do. I've already listed mine. Short, fat, old, chronic pain. Taekwondo is not the ideal sport for me, but I love it. And I love it enough that I've done strength training to try to supplement my ability to kick and punch. I've done yoga to stay flexible. When I was told that 75 miles was part of the requirement for my second-degree test, I got out and started doing it right away, because the sooner I started, the sooner I finished. Right. I still hate running, and I'm still the slowest person here. But I winded my way through approximately 20 hours of running, 16 minutes per mile, average pace, and I made it across that finish line. I didn't try to beat anyone else's pace, and I'm not trying to be the best person here. I want to be strong enough and last long enough to be the best me that I can be. 3 years ago, I said that getting my black belt was just the beginning. I know that even more now. For everything I learned, there are 2 things I don't know. For everything I gain, there are more things waiting for me to get there. And if you ask me now where I want to be in 1 year, or 5 years, or fate's willing in 10 years, the answer is the same. I want to be here. I want to keep training. I want to keep living the best life that I can, and Taekwondo is part of that. I want to gain more courage, have faith and belief in myself. I want to be strong, and I will persevere, and I will continue to grow. Keep working, keep kicking, don't die.